The Wildcat Sports Club CNY Brewfest is coming up January 31st and February 1st at the New York State Fairgrounds. Taste your way through unlimited samples from more than 100 breweries. Now featuring hard ciders, seltzers, craft cocktails, and mocktails too. Grab your tickets now at cnybrewfest.com.
Oh, that it is. Here we are. Welcome in. It's still Tuesday. It's still game day. For those of you that were not with us for the last 2 hours in the 315, yeah, it's the game. We're doing the whole thing. Pregame, Showtime, Cuse, and Louisville here tonight. I just turned on the Labatt sign. If you're watching on Cuse Sports, did it get turned up? It feels brighter than normal. I don't know. Well, we'll deal with that later. Maybe we'll mood light the back half of the show. We'll see how this puppy goes. But welcome in. If you'd like to join in via phone, you may. We're here over the next hour at 315-437-7644. If you're heading up to the Dome, whatever is on your mind tonight, getting ready for Cuse and Louisville tip time. An hour out, pregame coverage going already on TK99 on our AM channel as well, ESPN 1200. I'll be with you here for an hour. If you're going to watch the game on television, ACC Network is your channel of choice because that's where the game is. Doug Sherman and Eric Devendorf, Syracuse grads both, will be on the broadcast tonight on your TV. Michael Carter-Williams, new to the ACC Network as of a week ago. He made his debut in the studio a week ago. He's back in the studio today talking more Syracuse. So looking forward to catching out what MC Dubs has to say about the team tonight. Then when the game's over, wherever you've dispersed for the game, come on back. Come right on back. We'll be on the Q Sports Talk. We'll be on the radio. Tim Leonard will have post-game coverage for you. Phone lines will be wide open at 315-437-7644 for your thoughts. And we'll have Red Autry's full post-game press conference in full, as always, brought to us by RomanoCars.com. So with that, we launch into our pregame coverage today, and for the first time here in league play this year, we launch into it with Syracuse potentially verging on a winning streak.
All right, you guys, let's listen up. We won a game yesterday, and if we win one today, that's 2 in a row. We win one tomorrow, that's called a winning streak. It has happened before. So let's see some hustle. Let's jack it up a little. I got a feeling things are about to turn around for us.
All right, the great manager of the Cleveland Indians, Lou Brown. Maybe he's onto something. Maybe Major League was onto something. Chance for 3 in a row here tonight for the Orange. But this one stands out differently. This one stands out differently. Not because Louisville's ranked or because they're a great team. No, they're a good team, and as of today, they're an NCAA tournament team and projected to be that way going forward. Syracuse has wins the last 2 games over Georgia Tech and last time out against Boston College. Both were extremely necessary. We talked about it last Wednesday. That game was, oh my goodness, gross to look at against Georgia Tech. But gutted it out, made plays late, won the game. Something we hadn't seen this team do in a while. And then what'd they do against BC? The game was a little prettier to look at. But what were they down? 8 in the second half? And then gutted it out, made plays late, won the game. And it all circles back to J.J. Starling. And now you got Louisville here tonight. Louisville's a pretty good team. Louisville, well, a winning streak. Louisville's won 6 in a row. They just won at the Peterson Event Center against what I think is a pretty good Pitt team on Saturday, 82-78. this is a tough test here tonight. But it's not an unbeatable team. It's not like if Syracuse wins tonight, it's like, oh my God, upset of the century. No. Would it be an upset? Yes, absolutely. But it's an upset within the realm of, all right, if Syracuse plays well, they can be right there in this game. And I think here, J.J. Starling's coming off 26 against Boston College on Saturday. Was a 79-71 win for the Orange on Saturday. He's playing, J.J. is right now, back from the hand injury, still sooner than I thought, and thank goodness. He's playing at a very high level. We'll have J.J. on my show coming up on Thursday as he joins us every week. But first game back, all right, it was kicking off the rust. Second game back, Georgia Tech 21. Third game back, Boston College 26. He's the guy. He's the guy right now. And there's not a question about it. There's not a debate about it. J.J. Starling is the guy on this team right now, and it's all kind of orbiting around him at the moment. And it's been very interesting here to see how what's orbited around him has changed from maybe what we expected that to be at the beginning of the season. Think back to the beginning of the season. We knew J.J. would be good, right? Were you certain he was the best player of the team? No, because Donnie Freeman's an incoming McDonald's All-American, highest-ranked recruit in who knows how long. He's a stud. Lots of talk about Eddie Lampkin. There was this, that, and whatever. There was a lot of talk about a lot of guys coming into the season this year. Now, hierarchy clearly established. J.J. is the guy. Who plays well off J.J.? Well, what did we see last game? The Orange in a bit of bother late, and then Kyle Cuff came in. He scored 10 points. When? All in the last 8 minutes of the game. Here's Red from the other day on Kyle.
I'm kind of past that now. I think Kyle, and I know Kyle is in a rotation, and I know he's earned that. So now it's really just about, coaching the game and really whenever I'm going to make my substitutions or things like that. And it's obviously it's a fill, but he's in a rotation now. So it's not like, hey, maybe we need Kyle now. It's just a matter of when Kyle is going in.
And what he's referring to is previously, like J.J. went out. Kyle hadn't been playing a lot, if at all, this year. J.J. goes out. Obviously, you need more minutes from somewhere. Kyle's the guy sitting there on the bench. So you toss him in. Why were you tossing him in a month ago? Because the team was listless. What does Kyle have? Boundless energy and enthusiasm. He's diving on the floor. He's making plays. He's athletic as all get out. So you toss him in for that reason. What's Red saying now is, yeah, that's all well and good, and we kind of needed that kick in the butt and the energy and the effort that he's been bringing. What he's bringing now here in the last few games is, hey, let's remember, he was at Kansas. He's at Syracuse. Like, it's not for lack of basketball skill, right? Like, now he's on the court, not just to give us a shock of energy. Now he's out on the court because, all right, we need what he can accomplish on the basketball court that's not just giving a boost in the energy-wise. Now we're also seeing Lucas Taylor. Taylor played 37 minutes last game. Talk about grabbing hold of a role. There's been 16 games this season. Games 1 through 12, Lucas Taylor had 0 games with 10 or more points. Games 13, 14, 15, 16, all of them double-figure scoring. 15 points last time out, 2 of 4 from 3. Still not the prettiest three-point stroke, but at least it's going in at a representative rate of late for Lucas Taylor. Playing off J.J. We see how it's evolving now when J.J. is the center of everything. Donnie Freeman's been out, and already as we hit yet another early Harding and Mazzotti injury report tonight, Donnie Freeman officially announced out. I don't think any real surprise there by the Syracuse basketball team. The official news came down less than an hour ago that Freeman no-go tonight. Let me read again exactly the verbiage from the Syracuse men's basketball official social media accounts. Where did it go? I lost it. I got it back. Quote, Donnie Freeman is out for tonight's game versus Louisville due to a lower right leg injury. He is rehabbing the injury and has made progress. His status is day-to-day, end quote. How long is he out for? Not a clue. The whole thing's very vague. Don't really know what's wrong with him other than he had the walking boot on. But no Donnie Freeman again tonight. Will be the third straight game he is out. Means Jair Davis makes the start again. I am presuming the same starting lineup today though Chapa Moore has started the last 2 games and has scored a grand total of 0 points. It would be nice to get a little something going out of Chapa tonight for the Orange. But you can go Kyle Koff off the bench. You can bring in Chris Bell, slide Lucas Taylor up to shooting guard. There are various other options if Chapa gets in and isn't doing much again. But, man, I still think, all right, how can this team improve from now to the end of the season? I think it stills a lot on that freshman. Now you know Donnie's the best guy. Can Chapa get it going again? Can you get Donnie back to go around JJ? Like, okay. That still seems to be your best route to improve as the year goes along here this year. More on last game. Eddie Lampkin here without Donnie Freeman in the lineup. He's working at 2 games without Donnie, 2 double-doubles here for Eddie. 10 points, 13 rebounds. 3 fouls, only 2 of them personally. Got picked up with a really soft technical last time out. Played 33 minutes and rumbled around with the big guy for BC, Chad Venning. They had an old-fashioned battle in the post the other day. It was a good old-fashioned rumble down inside with some of these big guys harkening back in the day. Louisville's not that. I'll be intrigued to say they don't have a lot of meat down there in the post. I don't know what that does for Lampkin. Sometimes it feels like he almost plays better when he's going against one of those similar style guys. So I'll be intrigued to see what that means for Lampkin tonight. Can he dominate with power, or is he going to run into trouble because Louisville is more quick, athletic guys out there? That'll be intriguing to see how that all goes down. Couple more from Red from earlier this week on his ACC weekly conference call. We talk about, all right, Kyle Koff's getting in there. Lucas Taylor's getting in there. Still waiting to see where Chapa Moore is at. JJ's the point guard now. Since JJ returned, Jaquan Carlos out of the starting lineup. Minutes 20, 10, 5. Going down.
I mean, I'm sure it's tough, and we've talked about it, but he's still a part of this team and we still need him. I don't know, as far as what that consistently looks like, but, we need him. I think he makes us better. I think we can, have 2 ball handlers out there with him and JJ. So, going forward, that's the plan. But he's still part of the team, and he has a role for us. And I think for us to hit the ceiling or to be the team that I think we can be, he's a part of that. He's a part of that.
All right, so a little Red on Carlos. And Red was also asked the other day, hey, are you playing your best basketball now? And I thought this was insightful.
I think we're playing better basketball. I think, we're playing better, not our best yet. There's still some things that I think we can do better. But I am improved with the improvements. And it started even, when we lost a couple of games early, you could just see the team starting to improve. And now with the addition of having JJ back, I think we've been able to turn some of those losses into wins. And I think we still can improve.
All right, a little bit from Red from the other night, talking about Syracuse's win against Boston College. Chance tonight, Orange taking on Louisville for a chance to pick up a 3rd straight win and even their conference record at 3-3 and move back above 500. We're talking about it after the Wake Forest loss. You're going back. Syracuse is 6-8. There was a decent chance at the time, especially since I thought JJ was going to be out maybe a week or 2 longer, thus leading to losses, that Syracuse fell under 500 and never climbed back above it this year. Tonight you got a chance to get back above it way quicker than I would have thought. I thought once Syracuse fell under with that Wake game and hit New Year's under 500, went down to Florida State and lost, JJ's out. I realized JJ was back for the Florida State game, but I thought JJ was going to be out for even longer, including tonight, next game, a few more maybe. I thought once you were under, there was no climbing back. Well, Syracuse climbed back quickly, sitting at 8-8 here. Obviously, it's not where you want to be if you're Syracuse, but they've, pumped the brakes on things here a little bit. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to play something from you from yesterday that I don't know if you got to hear. We debuted a very new program here yesterday entitled Atan and Devo. What do you think was on that? We'll give you a little bit of that when we come back. Your calls as well at 315-437-7644. Much more getting you ready for the Orange and the Cards from the Dome tonight, 7 o'clock tip, as we proceed toward that this evening here on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. It didn't want to play the commercial. The heck? Yes, Super Cat. I pride myself on my Louisville. Great Lakes makes good beer, Kev. Many moons ago, when I was in Louisville for a football game, we had Paul Rogers on the pregame show, who was on Orange Nation earlier today. And Paul, the longtime voice of the Louisville Cardinals, complimented me on my Louisville. So I have not stopped saying Louisville as smushed up as possible ever since. Oh, God, no, Kev. Not a storm the court win. Though based on how students storm the court these days, you probably. All right, anything funky going on at the Dome tonight? Any reports of anything interesting happening at the Dome tonight? What's going on? I already know Dottie's out. Is there anything else we need to know? National Grid Night. Get your green shirts. Yeah, I will fit in swimmingly with the locals, Kev, down in Louisville. So I am lacking perhaps the horse money. That's a lot of spread. Is that the spread, Ryan? 32? My bill last month was not small. It always kind of goes up in Christmas light season, but my goodness. I mean, Miami's not good. It's possible they smash them. Yeah, I was right around there, Kev.
Luxury down pat with the all-new 2025 Lexus ES300H. This hybrid model has a comfortable, quiet inside with plenty of attitude outside. Reach the new 2025 Lexus ES300H at Burdick Lexus in Cicero. Stock number 1C50380. MSRP $48,984. Lease for 3 years.
That'd be nice, Super Cat. $595
per month with $59.99 due at signing with 2000 LFS lease cash applied. Excludes tax. $197.50 doc fee, $595 first payment, $795 acquisition fee, EMB extra with approved credit Tier 1 Plus FICO 720 or above through Lexus Financial Services. Customer responsible for all maintenance and excessive wear.
What's it entail? T-shirts. I don't know. Being the sponsor.
January 31st and February 1st at the New York State Fairgrounds. Remember how a good cold one tastes as you sip your way through unlimited samples of more than 150 brews.
Let's see if I can find an article that tells us what it entails.
Enjoy live music and don't forget to stop by the Heirloom Photo Booth to commemorate.
Everyone likes a free T-shirt.
Now at CNYBrewFest.com. The Wildcat Sports Club CNY Brewfest is proudly presented by Sweetgrass. If you've been injured or hurt in a car wreck, you think your case is a big deal. You think you deserve a big team that can take on big insurance.
Yeah, why would it be in this preview article? You know, it's free once you buy the ticket to get in. I think I've got their smart meter. They pop that in sometime. All right, rolling along here on this Tuesday evening game night. Cuse, Louisville. Tonight in the Dome, tip time is just north of 40 minutes out as we get you ready for the Orange and the Cards tonight. We'll hit a little series history in just a bit. But right now, did you hear? We started a new little show yesterday called Atan and Devo. You know who hosts the show? Atan and Devo. It's Atan Thomas and Eric Devendorf. Devo will be on the color tonight on your television on ACC Network. So we were going to do like a half-hour little show. We were going to start at 11:30 on Mondays. Get you into your week, into Orange Nation, get you rolling on a Monday. And, they did one show and like, no, an hour. We need more. The people have demanded more Atan and Devo. So it's starting at 11 o'clock next Monday. It'll be rocking and rolling on Mondays going forward, 11 o'clock with Atan Thomas and Eric Devendorf. If you missed the show, whole thing's available, as it will be every week, on Cuse Sports Talk on our YouTube page. It's live here on the Radio Live, YouTube Live, Twitch. It's live all the places we're live when it's live. It's not live right now. But, you might not have known about it yesterday. It was new. We told you, but, things float past. You miss them. You're busy. You're at work. You're doing whatever. You're making a sandwich. I don't know what you're doing. But here, let's get you caught up with a little bit of the thoughts from yesterday and now upcoming every Monday on ESPN Radio and Q Sports Talk with Atan Thomas and Eric Devendorf.
So, let's talk about the win over the weekend versus BC. First question I got for you, and Donna DeTota put this in the Post-Standard. She said the battles between the two centers, Eddie Lampkin and Venning from BC, was like an old Big East battle. I mean, it was, for me, I was saying it on the radio, it was like two offensive linemen big defensive lineman, big offensive line, just hitting each other as hard as they can, and then whoever controlled their body off the bumps was able to score. What's your take on the battle of the centers over the weekend?
No, that was a good description. I remember my freshman year watching Danya Abrams and Otis Hill do that very same thing, and they were just battling just like that. That's why I was like, oh yeah, I got to get in the weight room. They're doing some serious battling. But yeah, no, that's what it was, and it was a great game. They both had good efforts. I think the only thing with Lampkin is that you like his energy, and I heard a lot of the announcers, some of the people criticizing him when he got the tech and when he got the that wasn't a tech back in our day. That's another moment.
It wasn't
for us.
A tech. I
was like, what did he do? Because I was like, oh my gosh,
loved it.
Yes, of course. You want him to show emotion. You want him to show energy.
Exactly.
And he was walking away. If he had said something while he was walking away, it's not like he turned around, got right in the guy's face, and then I'm like, they're so quick to call these techs. I could go on and on about that, but no, I like the energy that he brings, and I want him to play with that energy, to play with that emotion, and he plays better when he's playing that way. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, when we were doing the radio, and they gave him a tech on that, it was like he was fired up. Like they've been jawing back and forth a little bit the whole game.
Right.
Like, yeah, they're going at each other. It's a part of the game. Like it's competitive. It's a competitive spirit that you need to have to be able to win basketball games. So, like, I don't know. I just didn't – and I think Roger Ayers is one of the best officials in the country. But, that tech right there was unnecessary. I mean, those guys were battling hard. And it brought me back – we talked about it to – to like the old style of play where you're giving it down to your big, they're bodying up, they're playing physical, and yeah, that's what reminded me of those two guys going back and forth. But I mean, that's Eddie Lampkin's second straight double-double. He had 10 and 13, and then he had 10 and 12 against Georgia Tech the game before. So again, I think he's doing what's been asked of him. Like you want him to have a lot of energy, and he's a skilled big. Right, he could pass the basketball. He has a high IQ, but I think this is kind of what more Red wanted to see from him, right? To be able to give him the ball down low and to make a play, whether it be at the rim or kicking it out for an opportunity for one of his teammates. But I mean, Eddie Lampkin 3 for 5. He had 3 offensive boards, 10 defensive boards, and he had 3 turnovers. You want to be able to cut down on the turnovers, but 3 assists as well. In 33 minutes of play, which is a big number. He has to be out on the floor for Syracuse to win, and especially tomorrow night against Louisville. Louisville is an undersized team who just shoots a whole bunch of threes, and they're not really a good three-point shooter. They just shoot a high volume, but he has to be on the floor and take advantage of that, of the size advantage or lack of size that Louisville has. But I just think against BC and G Tech, that's that's kind of the Eddie Lampkin that you want to see and you want to have out there.
I definitely agree, and I got to give Kyle Cuff some props. You know what I mean? Because I think that he really changed the game in that second half, and he's really been doing everything that's been asked of him as well. You mentioned Eddie Lampkin doing everything. I think he's been doing that as well. I'm a fan of his. He's a player who he wasn't getting the time in the beginning of the season, and his minutes are kind of sporadic. You know, he's not always playing. There's some games where he hardly even played, and it's hard to play that way. I don't think that people and the fans really understand the difficulty of not playing consistent minutes. You don't know when your number is going to be called or if it's going to be called. You don't know what kind of leash that you have on once you get in there, so you don't want to play like you don't want to make a mistake and then not do anything. But it's a very difficult position to be in. But his attitude has always been great. From what we see, Coach was very complimentary of him in the post-game conference, said that he made him play him, which is something that says that he's been working hard in practice. He's been putting in the extra work. He's been doing what Coach asked him to do, and he comes in and he makes his contribution. That's what you want out of a player. That's like, Coach's dream. And so to see him having that success and to come in and be able to change the game in the second half like he did, he's an easy player to root for. So just wanted to give him a little bit of props, before we end.
No, we talked before the show. He was the guy that changed the game. Without him, Syracuse doesn't win the basketball game. I mean, he played 18 minutes, 3 for 4 from the field, 2 from 3. He had 10 points, 2 for 4 from the line. And like you said, he's a guy who comes in, regardless if he's going to play 5 minutes or if he's going to play 20 minutes, he gives it everything he's got. He's positive, always has a positive attitude. Great locker room guy. He doesn't have bad body language. So, I mean, yeah, shout out to Kyle Cuff. He's a guy that he is probably one of my favorite players on the team just because he's consistent with his attitude. And that's huge for a team, especially, when you're not playing particularly well, to have a guy like that in the locker room, it means a lot. So shout out to Kyle Cuff. But a few other guys. We got Lucas Taylor, who's been playing well, Jair Davis, and then obviously, getting your best player back, J.J. Starling, who's been averaging 20 points in his last 3 games. It just makes everybody's job much easier when J.J. Starling is on the court.
I really like the way that J.J. attacked the rim, and he was exploiting their defense. I don't know why they didn't adjust to it, to be honest with you, but he kept attacking from that high pick and roll. And they did it from the side pick and roll as well. Then he rejected the screen and just attacked it. And if it's going to keep working, then keep going to it, until the defense figures something out. And that was part of the offensive strategy that we mentioned early in the show that you have to give Coach Red his credit for, because he could have decided to go away from that and do something different, but if something is working, you keep doing it. And I think if he had a different strategy, I don't know if we win that game, because there's a little bit of time where we're looking for some scoring, we have a little bit of a drought where things aren't necessarily falling, and we're still not shooting the ball fantastically from outside. Is that a good way to say it? You know what I mean? Not fantastically.
Yeah.
We have room for improvement, but if we're not, if the 3-pointer's not falling, drive to the hole, and that's what J.J. Starling did, and I thought that was great.
All right, a little bit from Atan and Devo, who are Atan and Devo. That's Atan Thomas and Eric Devendorf. If you don't know who they are and you're listening to a Syracuse basketball pregame show, we may have to have some remedial sessions here going forward on the history of this program, but that's okay. That's okay. But Atan and Devo, every Monday at 11 o'clock going forward. We just had the debut episode yesterday. If you're saying, what is that? What are they doing? Talking to each other. What is up with this? You haven't lost it. It literally started yesterday. And if you're saying, I like that, I'd like to see more of what they had to say, you can go check out the full show from yesterday at QSportsTalk.com. It is on the radio here on the Cuse and on the interwebs, wherever you are, on Cuse Sports Talk, Twitch, YouTube, all that stuff every week. So they'll be back with you on Monday. Devo, you'll be able to hear from him before that if you partake in the TV broadcast tonight, because Eric will be the color analyst for the ACC Network tonight alongside Doug Sherman. Michael Carter-Williams in the studio. Get a ton out there. You'd have, I don't know if they'd have quite the juice to keep up with these youngsters, but I'll take my chances with the decade-long NBA vet and Devo and the former NBA Rookie of the Year. I'll take my chances. He'll roll the balls out and see what's what. I'll take my chances. It's like those Brian Scalabrine videos where he's just whooping college players. It might be like that. It might be something like that. All right, with that, we'll take a break. When we come back, calls if you'd like, 315-437-7644. Phone lines open the rest of the way. And look back at the recent history between Syracuse and Louisville when we come back as well. More to come next here on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. My guess is, Brad, that they keep starting Chapa, but we're going to keep an eye on that. Bit early yet for starting lineups to be out. They did have good chemistry, early Orange. We've gone full mood lighting now. Mid-show switch. Full mood lighting. Oh, let's see. Stat broadcast, loading, scrolling. God, this is crawling. Syracuse. How about a Lipton hard iced tea, Super Cat? Now with variety packs. Refreshing. Man, if you work here and didn't end up with some Lipton hard iced tea about a few weeks ago, I don't know what to tell you. They dropped off so much. Oh, who are the striped shirts tonight? Jeff Clark, who's done 17,000 Syracuse games this year. Hit 4 in a row at one point. Jeff Clark, Matt Potter, and Tony Chiazza. I don't know if I'm familiar with Matt Potter. Starters will be posted shortly. Yeah, you did, Super Cat. Great news, though, Super Cat. They're owned by the same company. Shout out to Labatt USA. Yeah, I mean, the tea is the same percentage as a beer. It's like 5%. It tastes like slightly alcoholic tea. I believe it was a recent acquisition, Super Cat, because Labatt is pushing Lipton hard iced tea recently. And we love our partners at Labatt USA. Look, I got another bucket here. The problem now, Super Cat, is it's room temperature. I think I've had one of each of the varieties now. Jordan did his Lipton hard iced tea rankings on here during the bowl game. I think I'm going peach. Peach 1, lemon and half are very close, 2 and 3, and strawberry 4. I think that's what I'm doing. I think that's what everyone sees the buckets. The buckets don't magically keep the teas cold, but they are sweet looking buckets. Yeah, I'm not normally like a get a peach tea guy. Like if I'm just getting tea, I'm usually getting lemon or sweet tea or an Arnie, half and half. But the peach hard one, that was the best one.
Ford and Burdick Toyota pregame show.
Yes, it is. Brian Higgins with you all. Less than half an hour till tip. Starter's not officially posted yet. Presuming same starting lineup for the third game in a row in the absence of Donnie Freeman, which would be J.J. Chapa, Lucas Taylor, Jair Davis, and Eddie Lampkin. But we'll keep eyes peeled on it. Referees tonight: Jeff Clark, Matt Potter, and Tony Chiazza. Jeff Clark has done like every Syracuse game this year. Just he won't stop doing. Remember, he did 4 in a row at one point. He did one in the Dome, then he did both in Brooklyn, then he did another one in the Dome. It was like, what has this ever happened before? It's just ridiculous. So we'll keep an eye on that. Right now, does it really matter? No, but it's odd. It's just not normally how things are assigned. Okay, well, with that, let's get a little bit into our This Day in SU Basketball History from the Shep Family Funeral Home. Celebrate your loved one with help from Shep. Visit shepfamily.com. So we got the all-time series cooking here for Cuse and Louisville. All-time series favors the Cardinals 19 to 14. There were a few games back in the day. There was a couple of games in the 60s. There's a couple games in the 70s. The Orange actually lost the first 4 in the series way back. They played a few times mid-80s. The 87 team, they dropped the hammer. What's the box score on this 87 game? The 87 team dropped the hammer on Louisville. Is there an actual box score to load up for this puppy? I want to see this. 87 team. 87 team. So this is the year after Louisville would have won the title. Louisville won the title in 86 with Never Nervous Purvis. So Purvis Ellison would have been a sophomore in 87. This game was in the Dome on Valentine's Day. Interesting. All right, let's learn together. Purvis Ellison had 13 points in that game. Syracuse scored 99. How did this break down? Greg Monroe had 20. DC had 19 and 12 rebounds. Howard Trish had 18. Sherman Douglas had 11 points and just dropped a tidy 13 assists on their butt. Derek Brower came off the bench, had 11 rebounds. Stevie Thompson, or as this says, Steve, he would have been a freshman that year. I guess he didn't get the Stevie in the box score yet. He had 9 points in that game. There's a balanced effort. Man, filling it up. 87 Syracuse beating the defended champions in the Dome 99-72. What else we got cooking in this series? So then after 87, the teams didn't play again for a decade. They played non-con game in early 98 that the Orange won in the Dome. They played a non-con game in Louisville in early 2000 that Louisville won. That would have been at Freedom Hall. And then they didn't play again until 05-06. That would have been the first year that Louisville was in the Big East. And then after that, obviously, they started playing every year after the fact, and then Louisville won at one point. Syracuse won their first game as Big East foes. Then Louisville won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. Those Louisville teams were pretty good. Those Syracuse teams were good. So that is extremely telling. Like, those games in there include like 2 games in the 2010 season where Syracuse was number 1 in the country. They include some big-time teams. Then Syracuse bounced back. They won 3 in a row, including in 2013. We were talking about this game at the Yum Center. This would have been Jan 19. It's almost a year to the day. That's when Syracuse went to the Yum Center and beat, with Michael Carter-Williams, the number 1 team in the country. Louisville was number 1 at that point and then would go on later to win the national title. Which then got taken away. Have they got that back? I've lost track of that. And the series has kind of been back and forth since then. The Orange, though, have won the last 4 in the series. Syracuse has now won 6 of the last 7 in the series. They played twice last year. Syracuse won in the Dome 94-92. That was like a, what's going on here kind of game. And then the same deal happened a month later. So they played February 7th in the Dome, March 2nd down at the Yum Center. The Orange won in the Dome by 2. They won at the Yum by 6. First meeting between these teams was 94-92, favoring Syracuse. I tell you about the Louisville players. It doesn't matter. None of them are back. Their center was good. Remember Brandon Huntley Hatfield? He went for 19 and 13 in that game. Syracuse had 94 in that game. Chris Bell, yeah. This was the Dome game against Louisville last year. 30. Bell had 30. He went 8 for 10 from 3. Remember that? Yeah, he had 30. Let's see if he can reprise that tonight. Judah had 21. JJ had 19. Malik Brown, Quadir Copeland each had 11 in that game. 30 from Bell. Let's see if he can get going tonight against the Cardinals. The game that happened a month later down in Louisville. Yeah, Chris Bell likes playing against them. He had 23. He led both games in scoring against Louisville last year, so that bears notice. He was just 3 of 5 from 3 down at the Yum Center, but had 23 in that game. Judah had 21. JJ in the second meeting had 10. Justin Taylor had 11 in the second meeting. How about that? And 10 points for Malik Brown. So that was meeting 2. The Orange won both of them. Remember, Louisville stunk out loud last year, so it was like, oh, God, Syracuse better not lose these games. And they won them both by the hair of their chinny chin chin, by 2 in the Dome, and then by 6 down at the Yum Center last year. It's always been an interesting series. Like, it's one where it doesn't really extend back. Yeah, we look at that 87 game, but it didn't become a thing, Syracuse playing Louisville, until Louisville joined the Big East, and then, it was Pitino, and it was just, you were right in the thick of it, because those Louisville teams were really, really good. And Syracuse lost a million of them in a row, and that was always just felt like, oh my goodness, they just can't figure a way against Louisville, and things would go haywire, and it would fall apart late, and they'd go on these crazy runs. You're like, oh my goodness. And then we mentioned the MCW game. Michael had that great game down at the Yum Center. I remember him, was he slapping the floor at midcourt or something? That game stands out. Was that a Wednesday night? Was that a Wednesday night or a Saturday night? Will the box score tell me what day of the week that was? Where's it going? Oh, I lost it again. Oh, dear, it closed. Oh, no. Just trenched. It closed on me. My searching closed. How dare you, Internet, leave me hanging like that? That's ridiculous. Well, we'll try to look at that. How fast can we type it back into the thing and open the box score? I want to look at that game because that was Syracuse in 2013. That was a really good team. Obviously, they made the Final Four the year after they'd been number one for a significant chunk of the year. That Louisville team obviously was really good. They won the national championship that year. Like back when teams were teams. Syracuse won that game by 2, 70-68. Like, I have a definitive vision in my head of Michael Carter-Williams like slapping the floor at the middle of the Yum Center at some point. Like, that is a hard building to win in. It's a rare building to win in. I feel it in my bones that this happened. Hang on. All right. We're loading. Give me the box score. Come on, Internet. Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me. Okay, here we are. Found it. What happened in that game? What did Michael Carter-Williams do in that game? Oh, come on, Internet. Where'd it go? I was looking right at it. This has got to be just outstanding radio. Like, seriously, it was sitting here on the screen and then just vanished. All right, let me look at it, please. Michael Carter-Williams, 16 points in that game, 7 rebounds. But is everyone with me? Do you remember that? Michael Carter-Williams, like center court, Syracuse wins by 2. Did he have like a steal late or something? I feel he had a steal. He had something of importance late in that game to seal it up for the Orange. When each team returned the favor, like Louisville beat number 1 Syracuse the year before, and then Syracuse went down and beat number 1 Louisville that year. Just, some fantastic games between these teams. Back in the day. Go figure that's back in the day now. Oh, my goodness, that was 11, 12 years ago. My, how time does mosey along. Did he have a steal late in the game? I'm remembering a steal late in the game. I'm going to give Michael Carter-Williams credit for a steal late in the game, whether it happened or not. By George, scrolling through the box score. Syracuse. Yes. Okay, I'm not making it up. Syracuse was down by 1 in the final minute. Michael Carter-Williams took the ball away from Peyton Siva, dunked it for the lead with 23 seconds left. Okay. My brain still works. Outstanding. Shout out to MCW, who is currently stationed in the ACC Network studios. We'll be there. He's there right now for pregame. He'll be back at halftime if you're watching the game on TV today. Okay. With that, we will take a break. When we come back, we'll get you situated for the game. Final thoughts, keys to the game, check out the starting lineup, all that good stuff as we wrap it up and set the table for Cuse in Louisville today on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. Oh, you missed it, Alphabet Guy. Yeah, a lot happened. Justin Taylor, Super Cat. Send out the pat signal. Hey, look, it's Mike. The light? Yeah, give it a little. Yeah, it's got to go almost all the way as far down as it goes. Use the knob. You got to knob it. If you go too low, yeah. You got to go like right there. Yeah. 4-year-olds taking your attention off of a guy? No, that doesn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about. What's that? Yeah, the front corner. Yeah. Yeah. That's. You're going to watch the game with a guy at the bar? Wow, awfully guy. Look at you. Look at you knowing people. Snowing in Pulaski. What's up on the YouTube? CB. Cuse Vegas says, let's go. Yes, let's go. Come on, Chris Bell. For VP. Do it for VP. Do it for CBW. Starting lineup for Syracuse: Starling, Moore, Taylor, Davis, Lampkin. Okay. A chilly 60. How will you survive, Tampa Ron? Our heart breaks for you. You might have to zip up part of the quarter zip. Snowing hard in Rome. Be safe, Rome. What's up, Rome? This show's not actually on in Rome, because the ESPN station in Rome is where the game goes. We'll freeze you out yet, Ron. Yeah, like it's not snowing at all out the window last I looked. The wind today was brutal. The wind chill, it was a knifing wind. Feels like a big day for scarves. Big scarf day. Mike's getting taunted from all retirement areas. Mike's getting taunted from everywhere spring training might be. My computer tells me my battery is running low. How low is it running? Is it about to turn off? I hope it doesn't turn off. That would be disconcerting.
Pregame show.
That it is. Last few minutes with you here on a Tuesday. Getting you ready for Cuse in Lousville tonight in the Dome. Starting lineups officially out. No surprises. Third straight game of what has been the 8th different starting lineup for the Orange this year. But this one is undefeated We like that. The backcourt, J.J. Starling and Elijah Moore. Small forward is Lucas Taylor. Jair Davis starts instead of the injured Donnie Freeman. If you missed it earlier, Donnie has been officially ruled out of his third straight game tonight. He's both ruled as improving, but not ready yet, whatever that means. And Eddie Lampkin will start inside. So Starling, Moore, Taylor, Jair Davis, and Eddie Lampkin. For Louisville, their point guard is Chucky Hepburn, which is a fantastic name. The Wisconsin transfer, along with Rain Smith, Terrence Edwards, Javon Hadley, and James Scott. Literally everybody on Louisville's roster is either a freshman or a transfer. The only person on the roster that was on their team last year is just a walk-on whose name you need not concern yourself with. New head coach, complete changeover. Louisville, though, as we get into this game, though, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Are they great? No, but they're pretty good. They're 12-5. You got to watch out for Chucky Hepburn tonight. He's their leading scorer. We heard from Bob Valvano on my show a couple hours ago. He's kind of a herky-jerky scorer type. And here's my main worry about him tonight and what has plagued Syracuse recently. Hepburn is number 1 in the league in steals. Watch out for that. J.J. Starling's now the point guard. You feel a little better about that. But watch out for Hepburn. I'm presuming Hepburn will be guarding Starling. Something to watch out for. He's number 1 in the league in steals. Watch out for that. Louisville is number 1 in the league by a wide margin in threes attempted. They take about 31 a game. Now, they don't go in at the highest rate. They're shooting barely 30% from 3 this year. But they keep on chucking. They don't let the fact that they missed a 3 deter them from the next one. The main guy to watch out for today is Rain Smith. He hit 7 threes at the Pete on Saturday in Louisville's 4-point win against Pittsburgh, their 6th straight win overall. Watch out for him. But everybody on the roster, they're chucking it from here, there, everywhere. And we've seen guys in the Dome, right? Is the Dome easy or hard to shoot in? But we've seen guys come in and get hot in that building. Rain Smith is the number 1 guy to watch out for in that category tonight. He is far from the only guy to watch out for. I think JJ is going to have a big game tonight. He needs to. I would be shocked, frankly, for Syracuse to win a game the remainder of this season in which JJ does not have a big game. Does that mean a big scoring game? Not necessarily, if he's getting double teamed or they're getting the ball out of hands, but he's got to make good decisions and then he's got to score it. I think he's getting into the 20s again today. I think Lucas Taylor keeps it going. He's playing a ton of minutes now. He'll be on the court a lot. Can he make a couple of threes out there to keep things going? Can Eddie Lampkin continue to keep it rolling inside? 2 games without Donnie Freeman. He's doubled in both of them. I think he can do that again tonight against the Louisville team that has height but not bulk. Jair Davis, it's a game where he might be able to rumble around a bit inside, throw around his old man strength in there a little bit. Can Chopper Moore get going? I think that's a big question tonight for the Orange. He's literally not scored the last 2 games in the starting lineup. He starts again tonight. Chris Bell, this will be his 4th straight game coming off the bench. We told you last year, he torched Louisville twice. Now, the people he torched aren't there, just the jerseys. All different people. New head coach with Kelsey coming in. Can Chris Bell see that Louisville uniform, see that red out there, and do something about it tonight? He dropped 30 on him in the Dome last year. He was 8 of 10 from 3. Go figure, it wasn't even his best 3-point shooting game of the season, but he was absolutely fantastic in the Dome game last year against Louisville. So things to watch out for tonight. JJ leading the way. Who will complement him? Kyle Cuff off the bench. Will he provide a little offensive punch as he did down the stretch? All 10 of his points in the last 8 minutes in the comeback against Boston College on Saturday. So all important things to be watching out for in the Dome tonight. If Syracuse wins this game, without question their best win of the year. Without question, not close. That said, while the Orange are about 8-point dogs, this game is not ungettable. It's not an ungettable game. It's not easy. Certainly tougher than their last 2, both wins. But JJ back, Syracuse playing better. If they win the game tonight, no, we're not talking tournament or anything like that. But, man, if you win tonight, it's really the first time this season that I would sit there and feel like, all right, Syracuse is pointed in a good direction right now. It'll be the first time this season if they win the game tonight. They've had moments, but if they win tonight, I'll be like, okay, I'm feeling the best I've felt all season. That said, final score tonight, I think the Orange are in it for a while. I think they play a legitimate game. I think this Louisville team, though, with the turnovers they force and the threes they take, I think that'll be the key in the game today. I got an 81-69 in favor of the Cards tonight. If you tell me Syracuse wins the game, though, and JJ leads the way, I'm not going to be shocked. That's the hope. I just think Louisville might be a little bit too much for what the Orange are putting out there tonight. If Syracuse wins tonight, like JJ's going to have a big game, that goes without saying. If Syracuse wins tonight, some combination of Chris Bell and Chapa Moore are going to have to hit some threes. Somebody's going to have to hit some shots from the outside because Louisville's going to play with enough pace that they're going to be able to score some points in the game tonight. All right, if you're listening to the game, Matt and Sats over on TK99, they're rocking and rolling already, ESPN 1200 as well. If you're watching the game, HCC Network is your place. Michael Carter-Williams in studio right now. Doug Sherman, Eric Devendorf, Syracuse grads both will be on the call coming up in a bit. Then get right back here after the game. Tim Leonard's got post-game coverage for you. Full post-game press conference from Red Autry brought to you by RomanoCars.com. That's here after the game. I'm with you tomorrow at 4. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Hey, this is former Syracuse basketball player,